Well, I started painting probably early 80s. When we lived in England, there was nothing for me to do because I couldn't work there. So I signed up for a watercolor class, which turned into an oil class. So I did some oil painting there, and then we moved back to Houston, and there I started taking watercolor classes at a local art group. And one day I was walking down the hall and I saw Brenda Hash teaching pastels, and I fell in love with the colors. They are so brilliant. And pastels, they break off in little shards as you're putting them on the paper, so it reflects the light, and I just fell in love. So I did my first pastel with her. Then I just did pastels. That was it. Pastels are my passion. I don't interpret my dreams or anything like that. I just like the light. When I look like this painting I was working on here, you can see the shadows and you can see the light, and that's what I really like. Painting to me is not a way to, I'm a happy-go-lucky person, so I don't have any deep, dark anxieties that I need to get rid of. When I started out, I got the first set of, my first set of pastels were Rembrandt pastels, and they're not really soft, but they're not too hard. And then I discovered the soft pastels, so then I started working with those, and once you do those, it's really hard to go back. So. And then I use soft pastels too, and pan pastels. This is a pan pastel, and it's fun because, you know, if you want to pretend there's flowers back here, you can put little spots in there. You know, it's a nice different application. There's so many different kinds of pastels. Pastels are the closest thing to pure pigment, and so they're bright and they're luminous. These are sponges, and I use these on the pastels that are the pan pastels. And you can put these in, and then you can also just spread them around like that. And it takes a long time to build up your layers. You can sort of see it. The nice thing about pastels is they're very forgiving, so if you make a mistake and it's not one you want to keep, you can just brush it off or put pastel over it. Now this particular painting, I'm trying to have the focus be in the center, and these I'm going to probably soften the edges on them as I get towards the end. And you know, you just soften the edges by running your finger over everything. Okay, well this is something that I've been working on for weeks, and it's on pastel matte paper, which is sort of a smooth surface, but it takes a lot of pastels, and once you get enough pastels on it, then you can, if you see this, you can see where it's, you can see through, then you can move it around and change some of this is like negative painting. I don't like the way this looks in here, but you know, with pastels, these are Blue Earth pastels, and they're real creamy. And when you're working with pastels, you look through the object you're looking at to see the colors beneath. That sounds weird, but that was the best tip anyone ever gave me. So you start with laying in your darks. I use this to kind of tell me my map, although I think I got a little lost. But this gives me my darks where I want my darks in. So, and then when you get to this stage, it's more fun because you can put more color in, and like right now I have all these little cactus spikes I could be working on. And those are fun because you can use pencils And usually in pastels, it's a lot like oils. You start with your darks first and you put your highlights in last. If you don't have a light touch, you're going to get a lot of heavy pastel in, and then you're going to fill up your surface and it won't accept any more pastel pigment. So you can see why it takes a long time to do these pastels, and I'm a pretty slow painter. Yeah, you always think you have enough colors, but you don't. So it's kind of like you have to mix your colors on here in order to get other colors. I always thought, well, I want to paint looser and I want to do this and, you know, be like everybody else. But, you know, I love the details, so I get caught up and I might as well do what I like. Pastels, when they break, you get a lot of little different angles that make interesting little marks. You wouldn't think cactus would have all these colors, but they sort of do. It's just like shadows. If you look in a shadow, it's not black. There's colors in there. So I use purples and turquoise and blues. I'm very slow, and it is a sort of a meditating process. And then, you know, you do a little bit and you go, I sit over there at the desk and turn around and look at it. And it's amazing how different things look. You know, if you back up and take a look at it, and you think, oh, why didn't I see that? It's always fun when you have light against dark. When I'm painting too, I put all the stuff I'm basically using, the pastels I'm using right here. And then this is my plein air set that I don't really use much for plein air, but I use it here. You can use pastel. A lot of times I'll do like underpainting with water and pastels. And then once it dries, I put the pastels over it. Gives you a different look. You can paint pastel over watercolor, provided that the surface is prepped for it. When I first started doing pastels, I only worked on pastel paper, and the first one I did, I didn't realize I did it on the wrong side, but I still liked it. But now it's just so much more fun to work on sanded paper, or like this one here that takes a lot of layers. This is a little alpaca. I took the photo of this guy up at Wasserman Ranch, and he was just curious. He always put his face right in front of my camera. Just gonna color in a little bit. This is his mouth. He's got his head up. This is his nose. I drew this out last night. When you look at it, you think he's all white, but he's not really all white, because if you look through, you can see there's a lot of pink on this side, and there's a lot of warm yellows and stuff on this side, and there's blues. So I wanted to get the colors in there just to kind of show you what it looks like when you put the fur on over the top of the colors. What I like to do is do their eyes first, because to me, if you don't get the eyes right, then the painting's not going to be all that great. So, of course, you put a lot of layers on, so it will get whiter as you're going. And he's sort of got his nose up in the air towards me. Let's see. Normally I try to do the background at the same time, so you're pushing and pulling your pastels when you're painting. Let's see, is this going to be well? Oops. But you can see the colors beneath the some of the fur. Oh, let's see. Put this in here. He's got a lot of white. It's pretty white right down in here. You can see the texture. This is more of a yellow, I think. Let's see. Now, stuff like this, then you can go over it with the background and get rid of it. Makes it pretty easy. That's why pastels are so forgiving and nice. Yeah, I like his eye pretty much. I like doing animals and I like doing people. Then once you get your background done and you're putting in more of the detail, that's when you put in all, you know, all this kind of fun stuff. I think when you do the underpainting, you put colors underneath. It makes the colors on top pop out, and it gives it depth. Like in oils, you know, if you make a mistake, you paint over it, you can't really see what's below. But in pastel, you can normally see, if you want to see it, you can leave it so you can see it. It's almost like sculpting. You're trying to build something up. If you see on the picture, you can see it's dark under here, and then I'm putting the light over it so you can see the dark, which is sort of nice. And it looks like a little gray down in here. Let's see, this is supposed to go this way. Get some of his ear. And when I do the real fine hairs that kind of stick out, I'll be using my pastel pencils, so it makes it so much easier. I like to paint things that I enjoy. I'm an early morning person. I like to be up in the morning. I like to see the light and the shadows, and if you're plein air painting, those change rapidly. And because I'm a slow painter, I have to take pictures just to remember what it looked like. I've done some oils. Maybe I'll try some oils in the plein air group, because to me, plein air is a real social event. I'm the one that runs around and talks to everybody. But what I really enjoy is doing people and animals, sometimes still lifes. When I lived in Fulshire, I was in 2 galleries, and out here I'm just in the Catchlight Gallery. It's nice. I like seeing the stars out here, and the Milky Way, and all these stars that I never saw before when you're living near a city with the lights. It's just beautiful out here. So it's been interesting. It's a learning experience coming out to Alpine. I thought I would be painting a lot of rocks, but so far not so many rocks.